The house that watches back.
It was supposed to be a quick job, just a few nights of house-sitting for some easy cash. When Mia arrived at the old Hollister Manor, it looked like every horror story she'd ever heard. Peeling paint, dusty windows, and an air so heavy it felt alive. The owners had left town suddenly. They told her, "Don't go into the basement. The lights don't work down there." That was it. No explanation. The first night passed quietly. The rain tapped softly against the windows, and the ticking of the old grandfather clock filled the silence. It was oddly comforting, at first. But the next morning, Mia noticed something strange. The clock had no pendulum. That night, she couldn't sleep. The house creaked with every gust of wind. Around midnight, she heard footsteps upstairs, slow, steady, too heavy to be her imagination. She called out, but no one answered. When she checked, all the doors were closed except one, the children's room. Inside, a small music box was playing a soft tune. She didn't remember opening it. She shut the lid, turned off the light, and went back downstairs. But when she lay down again, the faint melody began to play once more. By the second night, Mia had convinced herself it was just nerves. But the longer she stayed, the more she felt like the house was watching her. The portraits on the walls, dozens of them, all of the Hollister family, seemed different now. Their painted eyes no longer looked at each other. They looked at her. She tried to ignore it, even turned one of them to face the wall, but an hour later it was hanging straight again, exactly where it had been. She tried calling the Hollisters, but the phone only gave static. The storm outside had grown worse. The lights flickered constantly, and the air smelled of dust and something faintly metallic. When she walked through the hallway that night, she noticed footprints on the floor, small, muddy prints leading toward the basement door. The same door she had been told never to open. Her chest tightened as she reached for the handle. It was cold, too cold. She didn't open it that night, but she couldn't stop thinking about it. And when she finally fell asleep near dawn, she dreamed of a voice whispering her name from somewhere deep below the house. The next morning, a letter was waiting for her on the kitchen table. Old paper. Her name written in red ink. It wasn't there before. She opened it with trembling hands and read the words, "You shouldn't be here. The house remembers blood." At the bottom was a signature, hers. That night, the lights went out completely. Darkness swallowed every corner of the house. Mia lit a candle and tried to stay calm. Then she heard it, a soft creak, followed by the slow groan of the basement door opening. She called out, "Hello," but the only reply was silence. The candle flickered, and she saw her breath in the air. The house was freezing. Her hands shook as she stepped toward the open doorway. The smell from below was sharp and damp, like wet soil. She took one step down, then another. The wooden stairs complained under her feet. The deeper she went, the colder it got. And then she saw it. In the center of the basement, an old mirror stood against the wall, cracked and covered in dust. Her reflection stared back at her, but it didn't look right. Its eyes moved a moment too late. Then it tilted its head, slowly, deliberately, and smiled. A wide, unnatural grin. Mia froze. The reflection raised a hand and pressed it against the glass. A thin crack spread under its palm. Then another. Then the mirror shattered, not outward, but inward, pulling light into it. A figure stepped through the broken glass. It was her. Same face, same eyes, same trembling hands. But the expression was wrong. The smile was too wide, too alive. The thing whispered in her voice, soft and trembling, "You shouldn't have come down here." Mia screamed and stumbled backward, but the mirror self lunged forward, grabbing her wrist. The cold spread instantly, crawling up her arm like ice. The candle went out. For a moment, there was nothing. No sound, no light, no air. The next morning, when the Hollisters returned, the house was silent. Everything looked normal. Mia's car was still parked outside, her bag still by the door. But she was gone. In the portrait hallway, a new painting hung among the old ones. It was her, Mia Collins, her eyes wide in terror, her mouth frozen mid-scream. The Hollisters said nothing. They just stared at the painting, uneasy, unsure why it felt so alive. And as they turned to leave, the painted Mia's eyes followed them. When night fell, the grandfather clock began to tick again. Somewhere deep below, a whisper rose softly through the floorboards. "I'm still here."